Welcome, everybody, to Season 2, Episode 3. Stranger Things Has Happened. I'm joined, as always, by my special co-host, Kelly.
Hi, friends.
And we have Scott from Used and Abused Pod coming on this week to talk about Episode 3, the Polywalk.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Scott. Now, just so that everybody knows, this is pre-recorded, of course, because, it's the afternoon on Saturday, but right now it's Thursday night. So,
well, we're live, though.
We're live. We're live now, but you'll be seeing us on Saturday. In the upside down, yay. But this is a very special type of recording because when you're watching us, this is on the Red 5 Tavern. This is hashtag Tavern for Tom. And in case this is your first time hearing about this, the Red 5 Tavern, our Red 5 Network Dungeons and Dragons podcast, we need your help. There is a player, Tom, aka Eldron the Wood Elf. That's how you guys know him. He had a horrific fire on October 18th. Him, his wife, 13-year-old son, 4-year-old daughter, they lost everything. We are coming together as Red 5 Tavern, as Red 5 Network family, hashtag We Are Red 5, to help Tom as much as we possibly can. You notice that there's a ticker scrolling at the bottom of our screen. Please, if you have $5, please drop it in the GoFundMe. We really need your help on this one. If you have $1 to spare, drop it in that GoFundMe. You will see.
It's not even a hot and ready.
What's that?
$5 isn't even a hot and ready.
Exactly.
You got it.
Give up your weekly coffee at Dunkin' or Starbucks and please help this family out. He lives in northeastern Pennsylvania in the Poconos. I live about 20 minutes from him. It's getting cold, guys. It's 33 degrees. They need all kinds of help. It's almost wintertime up here. So if you could, please just drop a little bit. You will also see me Saturday live in Not the Upside Down in your chat right now on the Red 5 Tavern. Hi, Lunar Girl. Say hi. Hi, Lunar Girl. I am going to be taking names of every single person in the chat towards the end of the podcast. I'm going to put them in a computer-generated spitter-outer thingamajigger. I'm not techie. You guys know this. But somebody is going to win this pop.
Nice.
This baby Grogu in a bag. Never been opened. Pop. From me to you. Just for being in the chat. Just for being our cheerleaders for this episode. Because God knows at this point on Saturday, I am only on about 3 hours of sleep. And I could use a cheerleader. So, yay, cheer, share it. Go on Twitter, hashtag Tavern for Tom. Send that GoFundMe link. Give us your coffee money for just 1 cup of coffee this week from Starbucks or Dunkin', wherever you go. Wawa, I don't care. But it would really help us out. So thanks, guys. And now do you want to start the polywog?
Sure.
Yes. Okay. Chapter 3 of the Polywog. So we open with Dustin. Okay. If you remember last time, Dustin saw something in the garbage can. And he's like, holy. And then the Ghostbusters came on. Mm-hmm. So Dustin, he walks into his house. Okay. It picks up exactly where he left off. He goes into his house and there's Mom. And Mom's like, did you do this? Are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. Are you constipated? Just like an overprotective mom does. And he's like, Mom, I'm fine. Just like a almost teenager does. And she sees his little ecto trap, his little Ghostbusters trap, and it starts like jiggling a little bit. And he's like, oh, I put a motor in there. Ha 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 ha. And everybody has a good laugh. And he runs to his room and he evicts his turtle from his little turtle setup, throws his turtle on the floor, and dumps in what looks like a pollywog slug alien thing, whatever. So it's like,
Yeah, what the fuck is this thing?
What is that? Yeah. So, and then he goes to feed it, and he feeds it a fucking Three Musketeers. Okay.
Yeah, but it was a classic Three Musketeers wrapper
with nougat.
Right, which I actually looked up to make sure that was around during the 80s. And that was the exact
Yeah,
wrapper.
that was the
And
wrapper.
Oh yeah, I remember it.
My dad used to love the. Well, he still does love those, but that was a staple around here.
That's my daughter's favorite candy bar too. My oldest.
I like it, but I mean the old white wrapper versus the
Yeah,
silver foil one for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So he names it D'Artagnan, and as every good nerd knows, D'Artagnan is one of the Three Musketeers in the novel, not in the candy bar. But and he makes friends with it. He's like, it's little daddy, and then he walks away, and the thing's skin starts bubbling. So you know something's gonna happen. But we get the intro song. And then as soon as the intro's over, we flash. Elle has a flashback. She flashes back to the first time she sees Hopper putting some food in the box. And she walks out of the forest. Hopper sees her. And we come out of the flashback. It's morning time. She's giving Hopper the silent treatment since he never took her trick-or-treating last night, you know, as every almost teenage girl does. Hopper's like, fine, I guess I'm going to have to eat this triple-decker, blah, 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 Eggo waffle sugar creation by myself.
Fuck, man?
Right.
Dude, there was whipped cream in that. There were Mike and Ike's. There were Hershey Kisses.
I don't think that was whipped cream. I think that was marshmallow fluff.
Oh, jeez. My teeth are hurting just looking at it.
Just absolutely full of it.
They're splitting that waffle. And Hopper notices that the cord to the TV is going in Elle's room. And he's like, were you trying to talk to him again last night? Meaning Mike. And Elle's typical, almost teenage girl. She's like, I need to see him. And you know, Hopper's like, soon. And she's like, when is soon? When is soon? At 500 days? At 600 days? And she gets all pissy and everything. And she flips that big, huge waffle mess all over Hopper, who's like, you know, cursing and everything, as a parent would do if they just had waffles flung all over them.
Right.
And after she freaks and everything, she's like, friends don't lie. And she goes into her room and with her mind slams the door shut, as almost every teenage girl does when they fight with their parents. We flash over to Joy. Joy can't find her keys. It's typical Joy stuff. Bob finds her keys. She's running late for work. She needs to be on time. Bob can, you know, she's like, Jonathan, can you drive Will to school? And he's like, man. Bob's like, I'll do it. So
in the Bob-mobile.
In the Bob-mobile. That was hysterical. The Bob-mobile. So next we flash over to Dustin, who's in the library, and he must really love the library. He knows exactly where to look, of course. Dustin's a huge nerd. He gets like book after book after book, 5 books to be exact, on amphibians and reptiles, trying to figure out what this creature is that he found last night. And of course, the librarian's like, 5 at a time. You already have 5 books out that you never returned. And he's like, please, I need them. I need my paddles to go on my journey. And she's like, Justin, 5 books at a time. And he does like this whole big, you know, ooh, what's that? Made you look, and runs out of the library with the 5 extra books that he wasn't supposed to have.
Yeah. And what books does he fucking have?
Right.
Yeah, I can't remember. She said what other books he had, but these books are purely reptiles and amphibians because he's a nerd.
I used to check out a book. What the fuck you do with 5 books?
I used to check out at least 3 books at a time. I was a
Is it
nerd.
because your proximity to the library?
Actually, no, because we did have one library that was about 15 minutes away, about 5 miles, 15 minutes or so. And I just like to read. And I'd go to the library once a week, once every 2 weeks, and just check out a shit ton of books. There's nothing to do in the country. I read
True.
a lot. So after the whole library scene, we're with Bob and Will in the car, and Bob's like, trying to play, I'm your mom's new boyfriend, and I care about you. Actually, I think he really does care. Do you guys think he really cares?
Yeah, I think he does.
I think he really cares about Will. So he's like, was that you that I heard walking around last night? And Will's like, yeah, probably. And he's like, was it a nightmare again? And Will's like, eh. So he tells them about this nightmare that he always had as a kid, about this giant clown guy. And he would have this nightmare day after day after day of the clown, and he always ran. And finally, one day, he did not run. And he stood his ground, and then he never dreamed about that clown ever again.
That
and then
whole
Will
conversation was so fucking like 80s stepdad.
Right.
And you're just like, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
They hit those tropes every time just to make sure that you're watching a episode of Elf or something.
Right. Absolutely. But, he cares because he's Bob.
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 Fucking Bob.
Bobmobile. Bob in the Bobmobile. And then we have a tiny little snippet of Max talking to Lucas. And Lucas is trying to explain to Max why they call Will Zombie Boy without really telling her the whole story so she doesn't think everybody's crazy. And he's like, whatever you do, just don't ask Will. And then we flash over to science class with the science teacher. I can't remember the science teacher's name again.
Mr. Clark? Is it Clark?
Mr. Clark, yes. So Mr. Clark starts telling them the story about Phineas Gage, about how Phineas Gage, and I remember this from my science class, had like a rod shoved straight through his head, and he didn't die, but it did change the way he acted, which kind of, sort of, is like Will, who went through this huge trauma of being in the Upside Down, and it changed the way he's acting now. But one of the things I noticed is that Will caught Max staring at him, and Max is like, trying to look away, and I wasn't looking at you. And then Dustin bashes through those doors. He's late, and he actually has D'Artagnan in his little box in his book bag, with all these books and everything. But I like the relationship he has with the science teacher, because he's like, calls him Lord and everything like that.
Yeah, well, like that is how he keeps putting him back in the ghost trap.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Is that what it was called? Is a ghost trap? I was trying to remember
trap?
the actual name of what those traps were called.
Me too. I couldn't think of it to save my life.
Let me look it up while you keep talking.
Yeah. Thank you. So, and he quick whispers to Mike, Will, Lucas, and now Max to meet in the AV room, AV club. So they know that something important is going on.
It's a muon trap. M-U-O-N, muon.
Muon trap.
But mostly referred to as a ghost trap. I knew that there was a name for it.
Right. I couldn't remember for the life of me. I wouldn't even know Muon Trap.
I had to
I
look
don't
it
even
up.
remember
So
that word.
I knew that there was a word in there right in the back, but I didn't know. I couldn't have pulled it out of
Yeah.
my ass if you put a gun to my head.
Well, I hope not. It's square.
I'd have got shot. I'd been like, there's a word for it. Bang.
And your ass hurts.
Insane.
So now we cut away to the police station, and they're following up with the investigation that they did the night before. And, the other cops are like, yeah, we saw some sticky goo over here. But Hopper, of course, is like trying to take it seriously. And he's like, you guys didn't even check. It's called a flashlight, you dummies. Because they're like, oh, it got
Yeah, they
really
quit
dark.
early.
Yeah. So Hopper, who is a good cop, he's putting X's here and X's here and X's here on every single farm that was destroyed. And then he goes into a smaller circle and a smaller circle. And bam, there's a building right in the middle of that circle. So
I'm assuming
knows he
it's
has
the
to go there.
facility.
It's a facility.
Yeah,
It's the lab. It's Hawkins' lab. But we don't go to the lab just yet because we flash back over to Elle. Elle puts on the blindfold because she needs to see Mike again. She rips that blindfold off and she's like, fuck this. She goes into a flashback. She flashes back to the first time that Hopper took her to the cabin. He says, this is your new home. He throws on a Jim Croce record, which was really cool. I really love the soundtrack in this. Have I said that before? I really love the soundtrack.
It comes up a lot.
Yeah. Wow.
I also loved the first record that he went over, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Then picked
absolutely. Because he's only used that cabin for storage. So the thing looks like a little dump, So he teaches her how to clean. The two of them are cleaning. They're jamming out. He teaches her CB codes. He brings in a TV. He makes tripwires and teaches, Elle what a tripwire is going to sound like. And there's 3 rules. 3 rules. Rule number 1.
Eat after midnight. Don't get them wet.
Right. Microwave. Rule number 1. Always keep the curtains. Somebody should have told that to
Star
Luke.
Wars. My fault.
Don't make out with your sister. Rule number 1. Always keep the curtains drawn. Rule number 2. Only open the door after you hear the secret knock. And rule number 3, never go out alone, especially in daylight, because we're not going to be stupid.
What I loved here was the back and forth between the flashback and present day. Don't open the curtain.
Yep.
Don't open the door.
Opens the door. Looks at the tripwire, steps over it, and she's like, not stupid, and stomps off as an almost teenage daughter does.
Right.
All of this stuff I've seen my own daughters do, and they don't have any special powers. Just wanted to throw that in there.
So they do. They have special power of scaring the shit out of you.
Yeah. Thank God they never threw waffles at me. But then again, throwing waffles at me would never fly in this house. So now we're at the gym and Steve is there and Steve's playing basketball and Billy the asshole starts coming over and intimidating him. He throws Steve on the floor. He takes a fancy shot, fancy basket. Nancy interrupts him. And Steve, remembering the fight they had the night before, walks out. Nancy corners him in the alley. And Steve's like, are you serious? You can't hold your liquor. do you remember anything from last night? And Nancy's like, yeah, we were at a party. I drank some stuff. I spilled a drink, and then you took me home. And Steve's like, that's not what happened.
At all.
Yeah. So Steve goes over everything that happened, how angry he is. He's like, ends it with, just tell me you love me. And Nancy's like, really? He's like, tell me you love me. And then somebody came out and it's like, Billy's really kicking our butts. Can you come back and help? And Nancy's just staring at him. And he walks away and it's like, maybe you're bullshit.
Yeah.
So, because that's what Nancy told him last episode.
That was fucking sad. I felt bad for
That
him.
was sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Steve this time. Felt bad for Nancy last season. I feel bad for Steve this season. So now we're
Fucking
back to Dustin.
Steve.
Yeah, I know. Now we're back to Dustin and the creature. Dustin shows everybody this creature that looks like a pollywog, but it's not a pollywog. Dustin goes over, it's not aquatic. There are terrestrial amphibians that are polywogs, but the one lives in India and the other lives in South America. Definitely doesn't live where they are. And then he's like, it can't be a reptile because it hates heat, and reptiles are cold-blooded and they need heat. So it's not a reptile. If it's not a reptile and it's not aquatic, then it must be a new species. So Dustin's like, yeah, I discovered this new species, And then Will flashes back. He has a flashback and he zones out and he's like, gone. We immediately flash to Joyce and Bob having lunch. Bob next door, Radio Shack, and Joyce outside in the parking lot of the hardware store.
Having a sausage.
Yeah. Was it a sausage?
I mean,
It was probably a sausage.
Wiener Schnitzel?
It could be.
It's a schnitzel.
I think Joyce's was on wheat bread, though.
I mean, she's making it a habit. A habit.
So Bob's all like, I hope I didn't scare you last night, because if you remember in the last episode, he wanted to take Joyce and the kids and go move away to Maine and never see this place ever again. And Joyce's like, no, you were okay. You were fine. And he gets, on a serious note, he watched the tape. He found that his camcorder, when Will got bullied, he said his camcorder has some dings in it. It still works, but it has some dings in it. And then he watched the tape that was inside of it, and he said that Will was working the camcorder and dropped it when he started being bullied. So Bob starts telling how he relates to Will and how he used to be bullied and he never stood up to his bullies and he doesn't know
So that
why.
answers the question that the camcorder didn't record the upside down.
I'll get there later. Of course, Bob's not going to know. He was off being a hobbit, so he's not going to know anything about the upside down. But the one good thing is that after all those years of being bullied, he is dating Joyce Byers. Aww. So, but you know what? You just ticked off Mama Bear. But we'll get there. Yeah. You just ticked off Mama Bear. So now we're back over to Hopper. Hopper's at the lab, okay? Hopper's screaming at that Paul Reiser doctor that I still don't remember his name. I have it written down somewhere. He's like, what did you guys do? What did you do to my town? He explained how all the farms, form concentric rings around this lab. Everything radiates out of this lab. You guys said that you wouldn't do anything to my town. I haven't said a word. You need to uphold your end of the bargain. So now we know that the bargain was Hopper's letting them do this creepy CIA stuff, but, as long as they don't do it in his town, and he'll stay silent about the whole thing and play dumb. So now we know Hopper's in on it, in a way. So weird Paul Reiser doctor is trying to say, oh, our last controlled burn was a couple of days before that. It can't possibly be us. Hopper's like, you're going to get to those farms right now, and you're going to run some tests, and you're going to make absolutely sure that it didn't come from this lab. Paul Reiser's like, meh, okay. So inwardly, he's freaking out. Outwardly, he's trying to play the cool doctor to Hopper. Hopper's pissed, though, but he leaves saying, convince me. Convince me. You have to convince me that it wasn't you at this point, because too many weird things are going on.
Right.
But the doctor's just being a jerk. So we're back over to Nancy and Jonathan. Nancy's like, oh, me and Steve got in a fight, and he's so mad, and it's all my fault, and I don't remember, and blah, blah, blah. And Jonathan's like, oh, Nancy, don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. It happens sometimes when you have some drinks. But then she sees a Walkman, like some guy at lunch is listening to a Walkman and says, do you want to skip fourth period? So, I don't know what that Walkman's for yet.
Well, they don't vibrate, so
so there's not for that.
Those early ones could probably on fast forward though.
Yeah. So this is now the second or third time where we've watched Nancy have trouble with Steve and then default to Will. Like, this is a bad habit.
To Jonathan. Yeah.
It's a bad habit. You don't want to do that. It's a bad relationship move. Just,
Right.
FYI.
Yeah. You can't go to the it's just a big mess.
Competition.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when Steve is already calling him, oh, you should go talk to your other boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
So exactly what you're doing, Come on, Nancy.
Yeah.
That girl needs a sandwich. Anyway.
Fuck that bitch. She's too thin. She's too thin. It's enough.
She did Steve a sandwich and then eat one herself. So now we're at Elle. Elle is walking through those woods. We hear the sound of giggling. Elle comes up to a mother and a child. She immediately has a flashback again to Hopper reading her a book, something about, I don't know what book it was, but something how the kid lost a mother, and Elle's like, do I have a mother? And Hopper's like, no, honey, she's gone. Of course you have a mother, but she's gone now. So, it showed Elle learning that she's dealing with loss. But she sees this mom and the little kid now, and the mom's pushing the kid on the swing. And she comes out of her flashback to the mom saying, honey, where are your parents? And Ella's like, where is school? And the lady's like, it's over there, but honey, where are your parents?
About a mile away.
It's next to ammunition depot.
Yeah. Elle does this freaky stuff with her mind where she makes the swing wrap around the top of the swing set, And of course, the little kid's like, Mommy, look. And the mom's like, oh, what's that? And she turns around and Elle's gone. Like, what is it with the, like, hey, look over there, made you look, and running away in this episode? The
Yeah,
second
but
time
Elle
it's
don't make a
happened.
damn sound though.
Yeah. Like, there were lots of leaves on the ground. I'm sure you could have heard her,
You'd
but
think.
oh well. I guess the moms aren't that smart in the town or something. Like,
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like, what? Oh no, where did she go? Like, I don't know, lady. I don't know. So after that scene, Joyce is home from work now. Joyce is trying to watch this tape, except if you remember, the, the camcorder tapes were those little minis back then.
8
She's like,
millimeter.
how do you put this in the VCR? And she did exactly what I would have did. She called Bob. Bob told her how to do it. And she's like, Bob, English, which is exactly what I say to Dragon Buddy when he's trying to tell me stuff. And I'm like, I don't get what you're saying.
No speaky tech French.
I'm a technological idiot. I have no idea what you're saying. And I guess Joyce is that way too, because she's like, Bob, English. I thought that was really funny. So she finally gets it hooked up with Bob instructing her how to do it. She hangs up and she fast forwards to the bully part. And she sees him get bullied. She sees the camcorder fall. And then she sees the tape is getting all fuzzy, like in and out of focus and everything. And she puts it on pause, and there's like this weird fuzzy part. And she's like, that looks familiar. So she runs in the kitchen, grabs a crayon, grabs some wax paper, puts it over the TV, and traces the outline of the fuzzy thing. And do you know what that was?
Skinamax.
Almost.
It was a
It was
titty.
that weird creature that we've been seeing in the
The one
past
in the
couple.
sky.
Yeah. She traced it. And then she took that creature picture that she just traced, and she grabbed Will's picture that she found in his room in the last episode. It's the same creature. And now she knows that Will is not having PTSD because she's a mom and she knew it. And this stupid doctor's trying to tell her, oh, this is PTSD. It's classic PTSD. It wasn't. Will is really seeing this thing. And Mama just found out. So Mama starts freaking out and she hops in the car. And, oh, no, we're going to flash over to Will now. We're back in school. And Will sees this creature. And he's like, Will has that flashback of season 1 where he upchucked that Demigorgon slug into the sink.
Well, we're assuming it's a Demigorgon slug. It's at least some kind of.
It's some kind of upside down
larva.
slug that he puked into the sink, right?
Maybe now it's a pollywog.
Yeah. So he calls for Mike to come over. He's like, I need to talk to you. Dustin, at the same time, is about to unveil D'Artagnan to the science teacher. And Lucas and Max are there too. And Dustin's making his case. He's about to open the box. He's like, remember, this isn't your discovery. This is my discovery. And the science teacher's like, okay, Dustin, what do you have? And Mike comes in and he's like, we need to leave right now. And he screams it at the top of his lungs top urgency. Everybody leaves. Mike screams out, "This was just a stupid prank," to the teacher. So the teacher doesn't know what's going on. They all run out of that science room. They show Billy out in the school parking lot. He's waiting for Max. He's got some chick with him. And the chick's like, "When is your sister going to get here?" And he's like, "We're leaving. And don't call her that." And she's like, "Call her what?" And he's like, "My sister."
Yep. Dick.
I hate that guy. There's something more to him. I know there's something more to him. Something more to him. I don't know what it is, though. He's stumping me. I need a drink of my coffee.
There's something up for sure. I mean, he's there's a lot going on there that we just don't have enough information yet.
Correct.
Right? Ugh. He's such a jerk.
With a bad hairdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody had a bad hairdo. And
he's got the
God, that one's
I feel like Steve. Steve. Everybody says that Steve's hair is like its own being. So
he's got the good hair. Steve with the good hair.
Steve with the good hair. Billy doesn't have good hair.
Yeah.
He's got bad hair.
Becky with the good hair.
Yeah.
What was it?
Oh my God. What? Becky, look at her butt.
No.
Oh no, that was the 90s.
This is Beyonce.
Beyonce.
In that one song, she calls out the chick that Jay-Z was banging. Somebody with the good hair. I can't remember.
Oh, that song. Okay, you'll have to forgive.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm not very. I don't know a whole lot.
I don't listen to Beyonce. I just know it was a thing.
You're right. It was.
She sang that song during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
How embarrassing if you're Jay-Z. She's like, biggest show. Yep. Here you go. I think it's Becky with the good hair.
How embarrassing if you were Becky.
I mean, yeah, but you slept with Jay-Z, so nah.
You knew exactly what you were doing, girl.
Yeah, you've been winning.
Yeah.
On the side.
You might have slept with Jay-Z, but guess what? He's still a man who was married, and that chickie's still going to get you any way she can. It happens.
Does happen.
Yeah. Anyway, so the boys are back in the AV room, and they lock Max out of the room because Mike needs to tell all of them that Will puked up an alien slug, blah, 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 months ago, The slug, Mike wants to kill it, and it lets out that screech. They're trying to figure out like Will, and they're like, maybe Will has ethereal sight now, and he's not having PTSD flashbacks. It's like he went into the upside down, and he walked away with being able to see the upside down, just like in Dungeons and Dragons when you have ethereal sight, which sometimes happens with the trauma. You can see both realms. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That explained a lot to me. And it made Will feel good that he's not crazy. He doesn't have PTSD, and these aren't nightmare hallucinations or anything like that. Max is really aggravated that they're making her sit outside this room all by herself. So she picks the lock. She starts to go in. The box opens up. The pollywog grows legs. Like it's skin starts bubbling, and like these legs just like bloop, and the thing has 4 legs now. And Mike is like, ah, and he goes to kill it. Dustin shoves him. Mike misses. D'Artagnan starts running out the door, and Max is like, what's that? And they're like, it's Dart, which is short for D'Artagnan. They were calling it Dart. And now the thing is loose somewhere in the school. Good job, guys. Good job. Yeah. But now we're back with Nancy, and Nancy goes home, and Karen's there. Karen with her new
Karen.
hairdo. Because it's a new year now, so we have to have a new 80s hairdo. And she's like, "Oh, honey, where'd you go shopping?" And Nancy's like, yeah, my Walkman broke and I needed another one." And Mom's like, "Okay, what are you doing?" And Jonathan, of course, is with her. And Nancy's like, "We have to study. We have a really big test tomorrow." And Mom's like, "Okay, have fun, study hard." So like they go into Nancy's room, and I still don't know what's going on here. They have the Walkman, okay? But Nancy calls Barb's mom, okay? Says, "What I told you wasn't the whole entire truth. I need to talk to you. I want to tell you the truth, but I can't do it on the phone. Meet me at such and such a location at this time." Which, okay, Nancy, you dumb twit. The line is bugged, so even though you didn't tell the truth on the
You told them
phone, you
where to
just
find
told
you.
them where to find her and what time she'll be there. So, come on, Nancy.
You can't
That
know
was bad.
everything.
You can't. So we're flashing over to Hopper with Paul Reiser, whatever this new doctor's name is that I can't remember. He
We'll just
has
call him
all of
Paul
his.
Reiser.
I'll
Dr.
just call
Reiser.
him Paul Reiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr.
Mad
Reiser.
about you. Mad about you, baby. He has all of his goons in the fields in their hazmat suits, getting dirt samples, getting rotten pumpkin samples, and Paul Reiser's like, "Ho, ho, 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 you weren't lying. It really does smell here." And Hopper's looking at him like, "You piece of crap." Let's see. Hopper's like, "When are we going to know what those samples are?" And Paul Reiser's like, "I don't know, but just try to keep the people out of these fields for like a day." And Hopper's like, "How am I supposed to do that without drawing attention to anything?" And the doctor's like, "I don't know, you're the cop, think of something." And just then Hopper gets a call over his radio that the other cop is like, that kook that came in the other day talking about the Russian girl might actually have something going on. We had this lady talking about a weird girl that she saw, and Hopper just knows that it's Elle. And he hops in that truck and he peels out. Elle is at the school at this time. She's just about to walk into the school. She sees Mike's bike in the little bike rack. She knows Mike is there. Elle starts looking for Mike while it's like a Scooby-Doo scene. Elle's going this way. Mike's looking for D'Artagnan. He's going that way. There's a hallway in the middle. They just miss each other, like typical Scooby-Doo. Mike ends up at the gym. Max is in the gym because Mike's in the locker room looking for D'Artagnan, and he hears a noise and he gets ready to smack it with the mop. It's Max. And Mike's like, "What the hell are you doing in here?" And she's like, "I'm looking for D'Artagnan. What are you doing?" And he's like, "This is the boys' locker room." And Max is like, "So we're looking for a thing,
Right.
Max is like, "Why do you hate me so much?" And Mike starts saying things like, "Well, you're annoying and this and that." And it's because like Mike is jealous because he misses Elle so much, and he sees the other guys pining over Max. And that's what the real reason is, but he's just giving out a whole bunch of other reasons. And Max is trying to be friends with him. So she's skating around him on her skateboard. And And she's like, I bet you could ride, do a skateboard. And Mike's like, I can't ride a skateboard. And, she's trying to teach him some tricks and stuff, like basic skateboarding. And who looks through the gym window but Elle and sees Mike almost smile because Max is trying so hard to be his friend because Mike hates her so much. And Elle doesn't know what's going on. She just sees Mike almost smile with another girl. And Elle makes her fling off the skateboard. So Mike's like, are you okay? And Max is like, it felt like a magnet pulling me off my skateboard. And Mike's like, oh my gosh, it's Elle. So he looks up. Elle's not there. He runs out the door, looks down the hallway. There's no Elle. So Mike thinks that he's completely losing it. But if he only knew how close he was. We are over with Joyce now. Joyce calls the school, okay? Because she needs to get a hold of Will immediately because she knows that this monster is real. It's not PTSD. It is not a dream. She calls the school. She says, Will's in AV Club. I need to get a message to him. And she's like, AV Club was canceled. And she's like, she hangs up. She gets in her car. She peels out. We flash over to Will. Will finds D'Artagnan in the bathroom, okay? Because all 4 boys were looking for him after school. D'Artagnan's like the size of a freaking puppy dog now. Will goes over, I'm not gonna hurt you. And the thing's like, screeches at him. He drops his radio. He runs into the hallway. All of a sudden, he's in the upside down again in the hallway. He's running down the hallway, and this black smoke is getting closer, and it looks like there's black vines all over the walls. He's running out of the school, and this black smoke is getting closer, and he's being chased by total darkness. In the meantime, the boys get to the bathroom where Will found him. And there's no Will. Dustin got there first, found D'Artagnan in the, by the toilet, right where Will said that he was, and picks him up, puts him under his hat, and he's like, don't say a word. Because he's like so attached to this thing now, this sluggy thing, this lizard-like thing that's not a lizard. The boys get there. They're like, where's Will? And nobody knows where Will is. We flash over to Will. Will is outside the school. He's still in the upside down. The smoke is grown into the creature. Okay. And Will remembers what Bob told him. He stops running. And he's like, go away. And the thing's getting closer and closer and closer to him. And he's going to do what Bob told him and screams at the top of his lungs, go away. And he doesn't run. And you know what happens? Do you know what happens?
Tornado. One of its freaking technicals like a tornado.
All the darkness goes into his mouth, goes into his ears, goes into his eyeballs. It's almost like the darkness is possessing him through every orifice of his body.
Right. It was like a bad acid trip.
We're done. That's it. Like, that's where it ends.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh. And we got to wait another week.
Nope, I'm going right now to watch.
Are you really?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because then our show wouldn't be special anymore.
The suspense kills me, though.
Yeah. And we finished under an hour, but we still have 10 minutes to kill.
I figured
because we're live. Usually I have to do like half the show in 5 minutes. So
I feel like Scott's been super patiently listening.
Yeah.
And
Scott, what do you think of this whole episode?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, like I just said, there at the end, the smoke, the tent, really did look like a tornado, but it was darkness.
Yeah.
And the first thing that popped in my head was like, oh my God, this is like a bad acid trip.
Yeah.
Seeing back, where it's like, damn. Yeah, I mean, as soon as when it stopped, it was like, really?
Yes.
But I mean, one thing for me, I know I brought it up earlier, mainly because I grew up listening to Jim Croce. So for Hopper to put on Don't Mess Around with Jim, I was like, oh yeah. I mean, I was watching it, but yeah, I mean, this whole episode, the fact of, the creature getting bigger, and then sprouting legs, like what the hell? Like what is this thing? And I actually think it probably is what Will threw up.
Yeah, right.
I really think that he went down the sewer.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden something shows up again. And of course, Dustin picks it up.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, like the first time that garbage can rattled, it was a stray cat. So maybe the cat pooped in there or something, because he drank some sewer water. I don't know. It could be like a million things.
I know. I kept waiting for this thing to either bite one of them. Food.
Yeah. The scene that I liked the most was when Mike and Max were in the gym, and Mike was starting to say, we don't need another person in this club. It's, Will is this character on Dungeons and Dragons, and I play this one, and Dustin plays this one, and Lucas plays this one, and Elle is the mage. And Max was like, who's Elle? And Mike's like, never mind. She moved away. She's gone now. And Max was like, well, I don't have to be a mage. I could be this. And it starts hitting Mike that Max is not replacing Elle.
Right.
We can have a different friend, and they could still be a fivesome and still respect that, she's not taking Elle's place.
Right.
She's just a new friend.
Right.
So I really like that part.
I'm just curious though, how many young teenage girls will love to have Elle's power at that, when she did shove Max, like as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm really shockingly, I've said it on past series, I'm really into this series. I can't believe that it took us this long to find it. It's just so good. And it brings you back to your own childhood in the 80s.
Right.
It really does. I mean, during pretty much I can't remember exactly what year we're in at this point, but this is my early teen years, or close to teen years for me.
Yeah.
So it is bringing back a lot of memories. I mean, seeing the different notebooks and stuff of the Trapper Keepers. I'm like, whoa. Right. I remember that. Or, wait, I had that one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. Like the Trapper Keepers, the soda cans.
Yeah.
The Three Musketeers wrapper.
Musketeers wrapper. The clothes, the hairstyles.
And then the soundtrack.
And Billy's girlfriend got it all teased up.
You got 5 minutes. You want to tell us one more time about the Tavern for Tom?
I would love to. if you're just joining us or you've joined us, sometime during this hour, you'll notice that the hashtag Tavern for Tom is all over the place at this point. We are the Red 5 Tavern. Well, actually, where Stranger Things has happened, and we're streaming on the Red 5 Tavern today. Because our tavern player, Tom, aka Eldrin the Wood Elf, he lost his entire home and everything in it on October 18th. Him, his wife, he has a 13-year-old son, a 4-year-old daughter. They're staying with some family members for right now, but he needs our help. It's not just about the Red 5 Tavern. We have all of Red 5. We are doing a 25-hour stream today. For every $500 that gets donated, we are adding 1 hour to the stream. Please, if you could, give us your coffee money for the week. Give us $1, throw us a couple dollars, throw us what you would pay for your Starbucks for the week. You see the ticker right at the bottom there. Please load up that GoFundMe. Help Tom and his family. He lives up here in northeastern Pennsylvania. It's cold. I have the heat going. It's 33 degrees. They still have to clean up. They have to rent, excavators and all that manly stuff. They have to clean up all the ashes at their house. They have to find somewhere else to live. They only have a few changes of clothes. Let's help them as much as we possibly can. No amount is too small. If you have $1, please donate that $1 for us. Stay tuned in this 25-hour stream. As of right now, we're 25 hours. Hopefully it goes up right after us at the top of the hour. You're going to see Science Fictionary. They are doing sci-fi trivia. They have Harrison and Gilbert on as contestants from Fulcrum Entertainment and Adam from A Certain Point of View. So should be a great time. Andrew is fantastic with trivia. Thank you for joining us today. Lunar Girl, give away this pop. So congratulations to whoever just won this pop. Awesome. It'll be in the mail on Monday.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, bye.